is I want you to think about the last time you were in the biggest group of people you've ever been in. When I was 16, I was in high school going into my junior year, and I was in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, at the world-famous Copacabana Beach for World Youth Day. It's the largest gathering of Catholic youth in the world. I grew up Catholic. And so there, at this gathering that happens every 3 years somewhere in the world, all the Catholics flock there, and it's oriented towards young people, and the Pope was going to be there, Pope Francis, and he was just installed as the Pope. And so he was new, everyone was really excited, and everybody wanted to see him. And at this beach, which is miles long, Pope Francis was coming in. The beach was packed, it was bustling, it almost felt like Korea, Howell. There were so many people, everybody wanted to be there. And then I remember, have you guys heard of the Pope-mobile? So I couldn't get a good view, so I climbed on top of a porta potty with my friend, because obviously if you have 1 million people on the beach, that's a lot of pee and a lot of poo, and you need to collect it somewhere. But also, porta potties are kind of tall, and I couldn't see anything because I was kind of short in high school. So I climb up on top of this porta potty, and I just kind of hear this crowd roar, and I see this beam of light coming through, and I look at my friend Nico. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Pope Francis. He's coming in. And if you think the president's a big deal, this is crazy. Everyone is screaming. I just see the people holding their hands to hold the people back. They didn't care. They sensed the Pope coming in, and they turned around, and everyone started jumping, and Pope Francis just zoom by, just waving like this, hello, hello, hello. And it's just like that. It was over in an instant, and we heard a great word. There's some music as well, what Catholics consider the Mass. So it was an amazing, amazing experience. And I'm not going to lie, it was pretty overwhelming, but we wanted to be there as well. So in that, Christianity had humble beginnings too. And this guy named Jesus, that we all are curious to learn about, some of us may have made a public declaration to follow him. Maybe we're just doing it because it's what our family does. But he was a very obscure figure for the first 30 years of his life. Imagine now until 30. I'm almost 30. Just working in your dad's shop, being a carpenter, and now feeling like you're ready to go out into the world. And he started performing these miracles, which you guys have heard of. And then finally, because everyone was hearing about his message and about his deeds, people wanted to see him. Similar to Pope Francis or Taylor Swift, there was something about this guy that people just gravitated to. And it gravitated so much, like gravity. At one point, he gets on a mountain, because this whole group is following him. Similar, like he had his own Pope-mobile, but I'm not sure if, the combustion engine wasn't invented yet 2,000 years ago. And do you guys know how many people were following this guy by foot, day by day, when they made it there? Yeah, Chelsea? That's a pretty good guess. It's a little higher. Yeah, Leo? 3,001. That is a little higher, but notch it up a little bit. How? 4,000? That's cool. I'll give you guys a hint. In feeding the how many with the loaves and fishes, when they distributed the loaves and fishes, the 5,000. So I want you guys to imagine like all of Boulder High and all of Fairview coming together for like a pep rally. And there's this much food, but we're not going to dive into that miracle. And everyone is there to listen to this guy, Jesus, and his message. This book here, the Bible, a lot of it leads into this message. If I could take one thing from here that we could live by, like what does it mean to be a Christian? A lot of people would point to this and say, it's called the Sermon on the Mount, the Message on the Mount, where Jesus publicly declares to 5,000 his teachings, what he's come to do as the Son of God. And so in that, I just want to share these Beatitudes that totally revolutionized the world 2,000 years ago and is still revolutionizing the world today and the hearts of people all around the world, and even in this room, and myself and students here. So before we go into groups, I just want to read with you guys they're called Beatitudes, these teachings where Jesus flips things on his head, People were so captivated by it because back in the day, you had to follow these rules and these laws to be a good person and to have access to certain social circles or certain parts of the town. Could you imagine being at school? It's like, oh, how? You're not, you're wearing different type of clothing. Like you're mixing up a Nike shirt with an Adidas shorts. We can't let you in. Sorry, man. You got to clean that up. That's what was going on, but like on a way bigger scale. And Jesus comes in and he flips that on his head. And this is what we're going to talk about this semester as a group. What it means to follow the way of Jesus. What it means to be a Christian. So I'll read it here. I'll close us in prayer, and we'll go into our groups. Thank you guys for listening. When Jesus saw his ministry drawing huge crowds, he climbed a hillside. Those who were apprenticed to him, the committed, climbed with him, and arriving at a quiet place, he sat down and taught his climbing companions. And this is what he said. You're blessed when you're at the end of your rope. With less of you, there is more of God and his rule. You're blessed when you feel you've lost what is most dear to you. Only then can you be embraced by the one most dear to you. You're blessed when you're content with just who you are. No more, no less. That's the moment you find yourselves proud owners of everything that can't be bought. You're blessed when you've worked up a good appetite for God. He's food and drink and the best meal you'll ever eat. You're blessed when you care. At the moment of being careful, you find yourselves cared for. You're blessed when you get your inside world, your mind and your heart put right. Then you can see God in the outside world. You're blessed when you can show people how to cooperate instead of compete or fight. That's when you discover who you really are and your place in God's family. You're blessed when your commitment to God provokes persecution. The persecution drives you even deeper into God's kingdom. Not only that, but count yourselves blessed every time people put you down or throw you out or speak lies about you to discredit me. What it means is that the truth is too close for comfort, and those people are uncomfortable. But you can be very glad when that happens. Give a cheer even, for though they don't like it, I, Jesus, do, and all of heaven applauds. And know that you are in very good company. My prophets and witnesses have always gotten into this kind of trouble. And that